Today I received a report from the Outer Rims. It appears our science vessels have identified a world coated in some sort of shield technology. We have named the planet Gish. According to our lead science officer, she believes there is a civilization occupying this shielded world, and they are stuck in some sort of time loop. How or why this occurred is open for debate. Maybe they did this to themselves as some form of severe isolation tactic, or maybe a greater power than us deemed fit to imprison them upon this world. In any event, we do not know. We have been able to identify some of this civilization's traits. They appear to be quite small bipeds resembling terrestrial geckos. They have opposable thumbs and stand at approximately 25 centimeters or a little bit less than 1 foot tall. Frankly, from the images, they look quite adorable. I'm told that we may be able to interrupt this time loop and free these creatures from whatever trap they are in. I have instructed our scientists to move forward with haste, with the hope that these little lizard creatures may have something to offer us, or at the very least they may wish to join our Federation. After all, how bad could they be? 6 months have passed since my previous entry on this matter. The physicists have been hard at work attempting to bring down the shield and end the time loop. However, in the meantime, we've received a communique from the curators. It appears that the race that we have found are known as the Prikkiki, and at one point were a dominant race in our galaxy. According to the curators, they were among the most xenophobic, bloodthirsty race to have ever reached sentience. Supposedly, the Prikkiki were preyed upon for almost their entire existence by the numerous predators that occupy Gish, and they achieve sentience and therefore the use of tools as a means of self-defense. Being herbivores, the Prikkiki had no use for hunting and used weapons primarily to exterminate any species on their world that posed a threat to them. And there were many. It seems they carried this mindset to the stars. The curators have attached the little history that they know on the Prikkiki. The Prikkiki emerged from Gish and achieved interstellar travel around 1860 Earth time. They expanded rapidly over that time until they made first contact with the kingdom of Partagoa, which had up until this point been enjoying a slow expansion using slower than light technology for around 1,000 years. Slower than light travel was made possible due to the Partagoans' long lifespan and the use of preservation technology. In one of the universe's great ironies, the Partagoans were the exact opposite of the Prikkiki in almost every way imaginable. The Prikkiki were small, the Partagoans were enormous, growing to around 3 meters in length and weighing in at over 600 kilograms when fully grown. Their crab-like appearance also closely resembled one of the many and more feared natural predators that still existed on Gish, due in large to its ability to hide in the deep ocean. The Prikkiki unleashed a genocidal war on the Partagoans, but the haphazard method with which they engaged it allowed the outer colonies of the Partagoans to capture several of their vessels and transmit the findings back to their homeworld, before ultimately being overrun and exterminated. Within around 150 years, the Partagoans had developed hyperdrives of their own, but still remained at a decided disadvantage to the Prikkiki. Not long after the Partagoans developed faster than light travel, the Prikkiki had started to make contact with other races. They immediately engaged them in war. Unfortunately for them, one of these empires was the race that we now refer to as the Holy Guardians. It seems that even 400 years ago, this was a race not to be trifled with. The Guardians quickly and efficiently took apart the Prikkiki Empire and were apparently the ones who imprisoned them on this shield world, locked in a time loop. The curator data does not provide a reason, thus we can speculate. Perhaps the hope is that the Prikkiki would evolve over time and become less genocidal. In any case, this leaves me with a decision to make. Knowing what we know now, should we continue with our efforts to end the time loop and potentially allow these little lizards a chance to subject the galaxy to genocide, or should we sit back and simply observe? Another 6 months has passed. Myself and the Council decided to attempt to bring down the shield, and hopefully this will break the time loop. We have 2 main goals. Our primary goal is to integrate the Empire and their knowledge into our own. Perhaps they will enjoy the egalitarianism that we have to offer. Our second goal, and perhaps a potentially foolish one, is that the Prikkiki will attempt to help us usurp the Holy Guardians. The memory of their fury when we accidentally settled one of their holy worlds is still fresh within our empire, and I sincerely hope to make them suffer the way that we did, for what frankly was a fairly honest mistake. After all, the worlds aren't exactly signposted. In any case, we hope something as basic as the enemy of my enemy is my friend will work with these little space lizards. A full 2 years have passed since my initial entry on this matter. It appears we have made a grave error. Upon dropping the shield, we attempted to conduct first contact. However, our hails went unanswered, so we landed an envoy on the planet. The ship landed and was immediately swarmed by a horde of Prikkiki carrying all different forms of melee weapons. The ship's log showed them forcing their way onto the transport and butchering the small crew with incredible violence. We have a recording of this, which I shall play now.
Well, they've killed most of us. And not just killed. They've done things.
A small group of Prikkiki occupied the transport ship and then used it as a kamikaze torpedo into the cruiser that we had orbiting the planet, causing major damage. As the cruiser limped out of system on impulse, we picked up chatter from Gish of what appeared to be a celebration, which we believe signifies a new Prikkiki genocidal campaign is sure to be launched. I have instructed fleet admirals to increase ship production, and I am ordering the Galactic Fleet to disengage from its diplomatic duties and make all haste towards the Prikkiki homeworld in order to end this threat that we have perhaps foolishly let loose upon the galaxy. This will be my final entry regarding the Prikkiki and their immensely frustrating civilization. Upon arrival of our Galactic Defense Fleet, we found a full 3 outer colonies completely destroyed, devoid of all life. The Prikkiki had quickly built a fleet and beset themselves upon annihilating all surrounding sentient life. Faced with the superior force of our own fleet, we expected some form of communication, but as with all previous incidents, we received only a mix of insults before being set upon by their fleet. They fought to the death, with not a single ship retreating or attempting to fall back. This battle cost us very dearly. 15 battleships with full crews were completely destroyed, and that doesn't include the strike craft that were also annihilated. Our losses here were great, and it was at this point I felt it appropriate to join the fleet. With the Prikkiki fleet destroyed, I ordered our own fleet to adopt orbital bombardment positions above the planet of Gish, and gave the Prikkiki one final attempt at communication. Frankly, I don't know why I wasted my time. I received nothing but hateful insults. Thus, it was with a note of sadness I ordered gamma pattern orbital bombardment. Nothing was left alive on that world. The entire planet was left devoid of all life and will need the best our empire has to offer in terraforming should we wish it to be at all habitable ever again. I intend to classify these documents as top secret, lest the public be made aware of the foolish decisions that we took here. Thanks for watching. If you are interested in precursor lore, then please click the video on screen now.